Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. This is the most disturbing videos on the internet today. Let's dive in.
'17, Lieber and his team successfully created flexible 3D nanowires mesh that can inject into the brain or retina of an animal, attach itself to the neurons, and monitor electrical signals between the cells. And by the way, this is something that folds out, so it starts all folded up, and you put it into a biological system. '17, Lieber and his team successfully created flexible 3D nanowires mesh.
That sounds like an AI hijack, doesn't it? This mesh is gonna AI hijack something by the sounds of it. Alright, this is a new red mercury video. I never seen this one with a triangle. I always feel like they're up to no good every time I see one of these mercury videos. Like, you know you ain't supposed to have this. So what are you doing with it? Okay, he's got a meter. He's checking for voltage. There's no voltage in that. There's no voltage anywhere. I believe it will turn green if there's voltage. There's no sound on this. Is he selling it? What's going on? I think they're hustling this red mercury on the black market. For what reasons? I don't know. Maybe some people's trying to get there. Wow. He had the new iPhone, whoever it was. It looks like it's in like a gold casing. I wish I could read what was on the side of that. See, look, you see that? They engraved something on this gold triangle. Probably Russian, telling them it's 83% red mercury. And it's listing all the details below. But yeah, look at this. What language is this? What are they doing with this stuff? They trying to make their own ether conducting buildings, but I thought they needed silver mercury, not red. Uh-oh, looks like he got his hands on some more. Look, it says German. This is old. The container he has, this is old, from Germany. Like they made that container years ago. Look at the container this red mercury is in. It used to power something, guys. Like a giant battery. They got the chicken just running with it. Yeah, it changes the water Kool-Aid. I would love to see what that test is as. Like, what is the molecular structure of that water? That is sealed, by the way. I can see the strip. Does it dissipate or does it just stay red? It stays red. But guys, the interesting part about this video is the container this is in. Look at it. It's got some weird symbols. Guys, look at the weird markings. Let's see if we can. Okay, I stopped it perfectly. German dust. Pure red mercury. 0.318. Year 1914. What are they doing with this stuff, guys? And I am just... Look at the container. Look at the little hinges it's on. What did they grab this out of? Look at the top. Almost like they take this contraption and put it in somewhere. Where did they get that contraption out of? They snatched this out of something, guys. 100%. This is a power source of some kind. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. What's going on here? All right, the comments are saying, look closely to the bottle of water. As he nears the supposed mercury, it bubbles first, as it has a pipe where the air pushes through before the water dies. It did bubble a little bit. Yeah, so it's got to be heating up. The chemical reaction is causing it to heat up. Interesting. Whatever frequency it's emitting, the little chicken running right past it. If you thought I didn't have an excellent specimen for you today, think again. Feast your eyes on this tourmaline. I would say, if off the bat, I would say these are onyx. Like those black octahedrals. That has to be onyx formed together. If I had to name this piece, I would call it crumbled Oreo. And you guys already know I had to double up on you. This specimarite, spessartine garnet. This garnet is crazy. You can just see the individual jewels protruding from this. Definitely another stellar piece. If I had to name this piece, I would call it Orange Cherry Pop-Tart.
This beautiful and massive golden canopic shrine was covered with statues of a protective goddess and depictions of the 4 sons of Horus. Buried within King Tut's tomb, it was used as only the first layer to protect the king's organs. This beautiful and massive
Wow, look at the detail. It looks like they're actually clothed. Like they're wearing like a thin layer. Is that made out of gold? Look at all the snakes on the top. This is a truly exquisite piece.
The existence of the human energy field, or the aura, was validated and studied by over 12 years of high-frequency recordings in my laboratory at UCLA. This film shows the field not ordinarily seen, but now visible through computer color enhancement. See the dull radiation from the body of this man eating junk food. All of these foods are lifeless in vibration. They are dead and quite inert, unable to reproduce life. These do not feed the energy field. The vibrations are low in frequency and small in amplitude, providing only calories and chemicals. Without life-giving electromagnetic
She's spitting, providing only chemicals and calories.
energies, the man's energies remain dull and small. Notice the layers of vibrating radiation extending from the man's body and the fruit as he touches and eats these living seeds. In contrast, see the static vibrations from the chair and table. Even before eating, these foods nourish the electromagnetic fields and enliven his field. Fruits, vegetables, grains, and seeds are vibrant living substances which enhance the human field and are therefore called health food.
Wow, she said just by being next to the food, it's already helping his energetic field. That was interesting.
Wherever there is motion in the universe, there is increased flow in the field that humans interact with. See the explosive activity from the waves and from his body. Also, the electromagnetic field of the body is negatively charged or ionized, as are waves or tumbling water, which further expands and heightens his field, giving a physical exuberance and emotional excitement. No wonder that a day at the beach is so exhilarating and vitalizing. This vignette of child and man is a candid happening, unstaged. Notice that the movement of the child and the man's head also creates emotion in their energy field. Exercise, walking, and physical work create an energy field dynamic in the body, which is vitalizing, giving feelings of aliveness. When exercise is done outdoors, the fields of growing plants, wind and air further increase the electromagnetic pool. This scene of mother and son is also unstaged. See that as the child moves into the mother's field, the affection between them changes the overall field to a pink color. Individual fields blend and enhance when there is a warm, caring relationship. These energy fields are the largest and the whitest that we have shown. She is Omi.
When a mother and child is when it was its brightest. How beautiful. He's definitely done that before. This isn't his first time doing that. A large bass, 50-centimeter bass with his bare hands, no ride, just skill. That is crazy. That's pretty cool that he's collecting them. I wonder what the fish absolutely love them. I wonder why he's collecting them. Do people eat them?
Bob, given what you've been saying, what is the purpose of our playing here? What are we here for?
Well, that's absurdly easy. And I say absurd because it's so apparent once you begin to look at it with what I call a different overview. From another perspective, look at it. It's best described as you come here as a vortex of energy, and I might add as an alien to this Earth life system. You don't belong here, so you try to change it. Humans try to change it. They don't like the way trees are planted, so they plant them in rows when this system says do it this way, and they want a nice tree. That's typical of humankind. But why do we come to this thing we call the Earth and live on Earth and be human?
Well, gee, maybe because this is the epicenter of everything and it was created for us, but I'm going to let you finish.
Very, very fascinating but obvious answer. And the more you look at it, the more obvious it becomes to you. And that is that you came here to learn. Now, what did you come to learn? These are nice, neat questions. What did you come to learn? You came to learn a measurement system. This is a system of opposites, of polarities, and we quickly give them labels like positive and negative, good, bad, these kinds of things. We learn this measurement system, very important. We learn it, the system of measurement. And a great system of measurement that we learned is pain, pleasure. And we know, how in the world could you know pleasure if you didn't know pain? The most boring thing that you could do is have a very even life with no pain or no pleasure. You couldn't stand it. You've got to have these, and we search for those pain and pleasure things. We go out of our way to do it. So if you think in terms of the whole concept of living here to learn measurements, now that's the first. The second is very interesting, is that you learn to manipulate energy. I move my arms like this, my hands, I move my eyes and so on. I'm manipulating energy to do that. That's a use of 5 or 6 types of energy that let me move my arm. And we learn these very automatically. And I can tell you from deep personal experience that that simple ability that we take so much for granted of learning to manipulate energy is incredibly valuable in other energy systems. You'd be amazed how much value that we think are ordinary things keeping your balance, for example. We automatically learn how to stay balanced in this gravitic pattern. But over there, it's wonderful. You can use these kinds of things. So these are the two key things, but the most important thing of all. We came and we come here to learn and acquire an intellect. It's strange. An intellect. And we acquire, intelligence is not enough of the word, an intellect, an analytical ability. We come here to learn that. We use the metaphor left brain. We learn to acquire a left brain by living here and being here. That's the real valuable tool that we come and pick up. So you think that combination puts together a being that is a super being, and that's true.
Bob, given what you've been saying, what...
It's crazy how he said pleasure and pain. I look at it more as a battle between good and evil. Anybody can acquire knowledge and information, but who chooses to listen to wisdom as she cries from the gates?
So this is all Templar brick right here. This is going to match all the Templar structures. The original foundation is going to be buried underneath this. This is right on the Hudson River. You can see it over there, behind there. This sign's branch of the Delaware and the Hudson, one of the main routes. It was built in 1896 as a combination passenger station. Here again, 1835. I told you Rensselaer, Stephen Van Rensselaer, was a 33-degree Grandmaster in New York State. This is an old train station. You could see the railroad crossing. Got converted into the public library. Okay, you could see how these veneers run down the side. And then they stop down there. There's no foundation. This is on 3rd and Columbia Street. Columbia Turnpike is the main street in Rensselaer. It's one of the main routes from Waterford all the way up north. It's one of Solomon's routes. That's why it says truck route right here. This is a trading route right here for commerce. This is the next structure down the street. You can see these windows all got filled in.
Solomon might have really been at that temple for a little bit. He's breaking it down. Shout out Endos 369.
And they added these pillar columns here. They're all wooden. This all got filled in. There's red Templar crosses over there on the sign. Behind this building is going to be the post office right there. I told you all the postmasters or grandmasters. Right there is going to be the post watch, the VFW. They call it the Memorial Highway, the VFW Post 5800. This is the command watch or the post watch. Okay, Templar brick. There's the cross. Templar cross with the Seal of Solomon on the inside. Here's more trucks coming down here. This is the main route. Still on 3rd Street. This is Hudson Street now. Hudson was also a Freemason, Henry Hudson. Keep going. I'm going to keep walking you guys down 3rd Street. So you see how the Templar brick gets painted right here and the whole side of the house is brick. There's that church. That's 33 3rd Street right there. That's where the Grandmaster would have stayed right there in that fort. This is the heritage area, lakes to locks. They went through the canal systems to the lakes, through the rivers. Okay, this is all the main water route. You see how it's all red brick, red brick, red brick, painted red brick, red brick. How it goes from like gray to a reddish to a white. That's all brick underneath there, one solid structure. It's the same brick. They just painted it. Just like over here on the side of this building. This whole entire street is nothing but brick. The Templar brick does not burn. I'm sorry this is loud. There's all these freight trucks. I told you this is the main route. But when these buildings burn, they just change the dates. They still stand. Right, so this is right on the Erie Canal, Lock 2, Route 32. It's one of the main routes. There's copper all on these.
That was a gem. He said these brick buildings don't burn. There was proof. You saw it.
Obelisks that they got for the bridge. These are legit obelisks.
Wow, and they got obelisk on the bridge. That is insane. This dude is breaking down the entire Templars in America, Solomon's trade route.
There's copper running all down the front of them. These all used to run freely off the water. That's the bridge I was just at. Here comes the water. It dips down right here, goes that way over there. That's your next fort that's sitting right on the Hudson on the other side. It'll all be stationed right in that building. It got converted to Ursul's. They make wedding dresses in. Waterford 2E, you can see the fish match those 8s that are on the Mason Hall down in Albany, where my grandfather was the grandmaster, the 8s on the building. The street from the canal, this is St. Mary's.
Wow, his father was a grandfather was a grand mason, so he probably taught him some stuff.
Church. You can see the sign right here. It says South 32. The Catholic Church hired Christopher Columbus to come here, and they were knights. So let's go find the Knights of Columbus sign. I'm still on the truck route. This is South 32. Right here's the canal system, the bridge coming into the city. And what's that say over there? Knights of Columbus. Columbus came over here on a Templar ship that the Catholic Church funded. This is the main route right here. Somebody said that Biden's kid had that tattooed on his back. Right, you see how it says Waterford to White? It's supposed to say White Wall, and they edited the city. So this is all Templar brick right here.
These ancient structures go deep, and they just converted it to different structures. Interesting. And how it was a main trading route, and the trucks still use it. Wow.
We haven't got a clue, really, have we, about our old civilizations? It's just all... We haven't got a clue, really, have we, about our old civilizations? It's just all bamboozlement about they were primitive. I mean, look at this, it's unbelievable. Carved out chisels and hammers. It's like something out of Stargate. Some kind of sci-fi. Unbelievable. And as the water levels drop, not rise, we're going to be seeing a lot more videos like this. We haven't got a clue, really, have we, about...
Where is this? These do look like alien structures. There's something from a temple. Like, you can clearly see this was a horse someone engraved on a rock with laser precision. There's no mason or nobody going to do something that precision. Look at the straight lines. Look at this gear right here. And they got another gear right here. This doesn't make sense.
This can't be coincidence.
The book of Revelation, especially the first 4 horses of the apocalypse. The question is, why these 4? Why these colors? There is information contained in the colors. God is not trying to confuse us, and He's not just throwing colors out there. There must be a rational justification for why He picked these 4. Take a look at your screen. What do you see? Here's the symbol, the national symbol of next door neighbor to Israel, Jordan. What colors do you see? Can you help me here? White, red, black, and green. And then if you go next door, inside the territory of Israel, there is the Palestinian, symbolized by that flag. What colors do you see on the national flag of Sudan? Let's go to Kuwait. Let's go to the United Arab Emirates. What colors do you see? Alright, well let's just go to Libya because it could just be coincidence here. Okay, let's go to Afghanistan. What do you see? Let's go to Syria. What do you see? Let's go to Iraq. What do you see? I wonder if God has successfully communicated.
Follow to learn more.
White, red, black, and a pale rider. So I'm not really convinced that it is green, but it's an interesting theory nevertheless.
My grandmother, she said, I'm doing something bad. She said, go get me the switch so I can switch your bad behavior to good behavior. They didn't say, get a stick. They said, go get me the switch. Like, I'm going to switch this behavior. And we just say, oh, old people say that. No, that's something. They're going to switch your bad behavior to good behavior. Get me the switch. Most of the time when things go wrong is with the left chamber of the heart. That's the part, the chamber that pumps the blood up to the lungs to pick up the oxygen. Now the heart pumps the blood, but it doesn't pump the blood all the way down to the feet. That's a whole myth that we believe in. It only pumps it maybe around a foot away from itself, and then the rest of it is carried by muscles. So we're looking at the muscles activity. Usually what you put in your mouth is the factor. People say they're eating a soul food diet, but they're not eating the herbs. They went with that diet. Maple leaves, you follow me? Slippery elm bark. You may have heard of these things. But we're just eating the food, but not doing the self-defense thing that our ancestors were doing. We know that so many worms come with ham, and we know cloves kill worms. So they put the honey on the ham, and the worms come up to eat the honey, and the cloves kill them. That's why they had those little things on the maps look like on ham, and they put the honey on it and put the cloves in it to kill the worms. They were doing a lot of preventive stuff that we are not doing. We just, oh, that's just some silliness. No, they know there's a lot of worms in this pork, put some cloves there.
The liver's going to take away the stress on the heart because the liver's going to break down fats from fried foods, baked foods. So they said, let me take something for my liver. Dandelion. You heard of dandelion salad? So we do the hawthorn berries to strengthen the heart muscle. We use hawthorn berries to do that, to strengthen the heart muscle itself. Ginger root, blood thinners, horseradish, blood thinners. They were taking a heck of a lot of things as preventive, but we're not doing all that stuff. So you got to do the blood thinners. That's ginger root, horseradish, black radish, red radish. I'm trying to name things that people can get without going through a whole lot of changes. And we do know fruits thin the blood. All fruits, cucumbers, it doesn't matter. If it's a fruit, it's going to thin the blood. They didn't put cucumbers in the salad because of decoration. They were doing a lot of things. We just, said those are the old people. They do that.
So he's saying the herbs are what's making it soul food because it's good for your soul, not just eating unhealthy. I get it. Make sure to consult a professional before trying anything for entertainment purposes only. Just theories.
This is gonna keep you up while you sleep tonight. The hollow moon theory. Our moon really doesn't make sense when you look at the facts. Like, it shouldn't exist. The moon is about 25% of Earth's size, the biggest moon to planet ratio of our entire solar system. Pluto's not a planet, that doesn't count. That's 72 times larger than the expected average moon to planet ratio of our solar system. Moons are just not supposed to be this big relative to their home planet, but sure, maybe we got lucky. Despite this, the moon is only 1% of Earth's mass. 1%, meaning it is way lighter than it's expected to be, and we really don't even know why. Unless, of course, the moon is either extremely porous like a sponge or a hollow shell. When looking at this data, NASA's own Dr. Gordon McDonald even said himself it would seem that the moon is more like a hollow than a homogeneous sphere. But oh, that's just the tip, and we ain't stopping. Our moon's orbit is way closer than that of any of the other over 400 moons in our solar system, and also has a near perfectly circular orbital path. We don't see this on any other planet, which all have moons with wildly eccentric orbits. Our moon also coincidentally appears as the exact same size as the sun in our sky. Despite our sun having a diameter 400 times larger than the moon just so happens to be exactly 400 times closer to us, defying all odds of randomness, but is a
Oh, so the sun is the same size as the moon. It looks like it. Oh, okay.
officially deemed just a cosmic coincidence. The moon also happens to be tidally locked with our planet, meaning its rotational period is the same as its orbital period around the Earth, which is why the same side is always facing us. This one is not so much a coincidence, as tidally locked.
Is that why we never see the back of the moon? If we try typing in pictures of the back of the moon, we can't find it? Is that why? I wonder why we haven't been back.
Moons are actually fairly common in our solar system, but it would also be the perfect excuse for the moon to always look the same in our sky and for us to never see what's on the other side, like an all-seeing eye that never ceases surveillance of our planet. We don't even know for sure how our moon even got there in the first place. The most common explanation is that the early Earth collided with a massive protoplanet called Theia about 4.5 billion years ago, which was thought to be roughly the size of Mars, and the impact caused the resulting debris to coalesce and eventually form the moon. This is known as the giant impact theory. There's also the fission hypothesis, where an early molten Earth was spinning so fast that a part of it got ejected out into space and became the moon. The capture theory, implying the moon just drifted by Earth and was captured by its gravity. And the accretion theory, suggesting that as the early Earth was forming in its accretion disk, a part of that disk clumped together to become the moon. But when studying rock samples from the surface of the moon, we find out that none of these theories quite make any sense, with other NASA scientists like Dr. Robin Brett further quoted as saying, "It seems much easier to explain the non-existence of the moon than its existence. Like on Earth, the newest rocks are on the surface, and the deeper we go, the older the rocks get, as we would naturally expect to be the case. On the moon, it's the other way around. Soil samples from the moon confirm that older rocks are on the surface, and they get younger the deeper we go. The only time we ever see this inverse relationship of rock layer depth to rock age on Earth is through human interaction, like drilling, digging holes, and boring tunnels. Did the same thing happen on the moon? If the moon was hollowed out from the inside, this older inner rock would be brought up to the surface, and this observation would make sense. The lunar crust is also thinner on the side of the moon facing the Earth and thicker on the dark side of the moon, and researchers still have no idea why. The moon doesn't have a magnetic field, much the same as other planets' moons, but strangely, moon rock samples are strongly magnetized. Craters on the moon are all virtually the same depth, no matter how big or small they are. On Earth, bigger craters naturally go much deeper than smaller ones as the impact was greater. Not on the moon, almost like there's a solid layer underneath preventing the crater from going too deep. Moon rocks are also much older than the oldest rocks on Earth by millions of years, blowing the fission hypothesis and accretion theory out of the water. The moon contains traces of uranium-236, a radioactive isotope that doesn't occur naturally on Earth, but rather through the highly complicated scientific process of nuclear fission, something that only an intelligent species is capable of. Zirconium, chromium, and titanium are all relatively rare Earth metals, but are somehow quite abundant on the moon. Those three elements are also some of the most durable and corrosive resistant that we know of, perfect for building a massive structure. And they've even done quantifiable experiments that tell us that's exactly what the moon might be. When Apollo 12 was leaving the moon's orbit, they intentionally dropped their lunar lander down to the surface. When it crashed, seismic measurements showed that the moon reverberated and rang like a bell for an hour. They did not expect this. Only hollow objects are expected to reverb like this, especially with something as small as a lunar lander. During Apollo 13, they tested that again with a much larger object, dropping a spent Saturn V booster rocket that impacted the lunar surface. This time, the moon rang for 3 hours, with vibrations going as deep as 32 kilometers beneath the surface, and even got faster the deeper they got. This doesn't happen on Earth, or even solid objects for that matter, and again is only expected to occur on something hollow.
Can you imagine how badly NASA would get dissected through a microscope if they showed the public them going to the moon again? I mean, we all seen what happened with that space exploration with Katy Perry and friends. Can you imagine if they actually tried another moon mission in today's day and age? The live streams? Oh,
y'all better check on your husbands if they come back from the job site looking like this. There were no more Hispanic workers on his job site, so they called him in, and now he looking like he's allergic to the sun. He is so stunned, both him and his wife are speechless. Y'all, that sun is not playing out there. Look at this.
I would say he got he might have got hit with a little bit too much sun, but I would also say he might have got stung by a bee.
Guy over here, you think the sun is playing out in Mexico as well? Look at this. He created a whole shade hat with cardboard because his little bucket hat was not doing the job. And that's not all, y'all. The sun has been so bad, this company had to hire extra men to hold up this tarp on this roof so they can nail in the shingles in peace. The sun is out here playing no games. It is putting out God level radiation, man. Look at this. This man got a whole snowsuit on, y'all. Look at this. What? How do you guys feel about snow gear in 100-degree weather? Would you do it? Could you? And just to let you know, people are still seeing the two suns around the planet. Check this out, y'all.
Alright, you guys have to see this. Okay? Watch.
Check this out. Here's one. Here's two. Oh, there's a third one. Look. There's a third one. Look, it's faint. Y'all see that? 3 of them. They told us in the end times, y'all, that there will be signs in the skies. Y'all see it every single day, y'all. Multiple.
Pretty extraordinary seeing 2. I only see 2. The third one, that could be a glare off the sun, but that is unusual.
Of them. If you ain't feeling this shift, it only means you ain't tuned in. And by the look of these comments, it look like everybody is feeling it, whether it be for the good or for the bad.
The code word for today is Thursday vibration. Go ahead and drop Thursday vibration in the comments below if you made it all the way through the video. My name's Jet Ski Chuck if you're new around here. And we do these videos every single day, so be sure to hit the like and subscribe button. Find the bell icon wherever it's at. Turn notifications to all so you don't miss a post. Also, check out my other channel, Jet Ski Chuck, where I do 3-4 hour long videos and I go live. This was the most disturbing videos on the internet today. See you tomorrow.